Are we on? Are we on? Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I am your host, Glenn Poole Harding. And oh boy, we have a very special guest. This basketball head is the reigning three-time PSAL. Did I get that wrong? Three-time PSAL City Championship coach. And just like the recording artist Drake, he has won it back to back to back, with also one state championship. As you can see, totally screwing up this first intro of the night. Want to make sure we get it right from my guy Smoke. As a ball player, this basketball head played at Samuel J. Tilden High School for 2 years before moving on to Notre Dame Prep in Massachusetts for a year. After prep school, he attended Palm Beach Community College and spent 1 year playing Division I ball at Mount St. Mary's in Maryland. So as a ball player, he has seen all levels of basketball as an amateur, which prepared him to be a coach at the highest level in New York City's toughest league. He got his start as a coach at Adelphi Academy, where he was athletic director and varsity basketball coach for 4 years. So you already know this basketball head paid his dues on both ends of the game as an administrator and coach, which propelled him to be at South Shore to win those 3 championships and a state title. He started out at South Shore as a JV coach, and he wanted to show the people there that he could take the team to a championship, and that's what he did. He won the JV championship. And then the next best thing is to move to varsity and see if he could do the same thing, which we all know he did. This basketball head has been the most dominant coach in the PSAL since Abraham Lincoln legendary coach Tiny Morton. My next guest and his Vikings have made it their mission to run this town like Jay-Z runs hip-hop, and that's a fact. His passion for the game is unmatched. I've seen it up close and personal. When he coaches, he sweats out his coaching shirt. If you look on his social media platform, all the pictures except for about 2 are of his players and their team's success. With 20 years and counting as a coach, he has established himself as someone that knows how to win and compete on the highest level. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the show the most dominated coach in New York City high school basketball, 3 city straight championships, and 1 state championship. South Shore head basketball coach, Shawn Smoke Mark.
Y'all ready?
Y'all ready?
Yeah. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
What's happening?
How you doing, man?
How you doing, man? Yo, I stumped my feet in the beginning of my intro.
It's okay, man. It's okay. For me, you know what it is for me. I'm never really a big guy on the screen. I just look at it like, my passion for the game and just trying to work with kids is more valuable. I just got on because, I wanted to say I thank you for bringing the essence back to basketball with your summer league this summer. I had fun coaching, just brought me back to back in the day, just walking up in the Callow and just, seeing the atmosphere. And I had so much fun. That's all I got to say. I'll be back next summer.
Yo, brother, let me tell you something. It was such a pleasure having you. And by you having your team participating in our league, you know, we had credibility a long time ago in the 70s. But to come back first year and have South Shore City Championship team participating and you on the court, it solidified the league as something that everybody needs to participate in. So I want to say thank you.
Okay. Appreciate it.
No doubt.
Shout out to Slaughter.
No doubt. And the whole committee. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Look, no one man could do it alone, man. We did it as a committee. We came together as a community, and we pulled off something that nobody thought, and a lot of people didn't want us to do, man. But we had a lot of support, especially for guys like you, man. So thank you.
All right.
No doubt, man. So I want to jump right into this, brother, because I know most kids and most people that's going to watch this and all the guys that you coach that's in college right now, they're going to find out some new things about you. And they're going to understand why you pushed them so hard and why you drive them the way you do.
Okay.
So I want to get down to that and get to let them know Smoke before him being a coach. So we're going to start there first, right?
Okay.
No doubt. So who introduced you to the game?
I'm going to say who introduced me to the game of basketball was a lady by the name of Brenda Caldwell.
Hold on. Let's do this right. He said right. New York City legend.
That's right.
Okay? A woman. Facts. Who could ball and all that.
Who introduced me to the game and made me find my passion for the game. I met her when I was probably about 10 years old at a Beacon Center in East Flatbush, Brooklyn, Winthrop Junior High School. That's where I went. And, I was balling before. My brother would always, bring me to the park and everything. And, I play against older guys. And then I just bumped into her. And she just opened my whole mind to the game of basketball. And, I always call her today and I thank her all the time. That's like my second mom.
Yeah. So, I had to hit her up, right?
Yes, you did.
I had to hit her up, and she said, Smoke was fast, and at one time he only could dribble with his right hand and thought the game was played.
Yes.
As
soon as she got me a left hand.
Yes.
She got me a left hand.
She said you was a quick learner. She said you was a quick learner, and you picked it up and you turned it all around.
Yep. Love it for that.
Oh man.
Second guy who really introduced me to the game, Kim Carey. High profile.
Yes.
Good brother. I met him along the way. He was like my second step after Brenda Caldwell.
Okay.
And he really opened my game up, 45-degree backboard jump shot, certain things at that angle. And I still talk to them up to today, and we always have great talks. And, he understands what I'm trying to do in the game and what I'm trying to do for my community. And I gotta give the last guy, the last two guys their props.
Okay.
I bumped into, Ziggy, and I bumped into Tippy, Brooklyn, USA.
Yes.
Zig was a tough coach, made me understand what it is to find players in Brooklyn. He made me understand what it is to be a part of a community. Brought me to different communities, let me learn how to actually recruit, and what I do right now. Tip taught me how to train. I always thank him for that. And, whatever he taught me, I always bring it to the fore on a high level. And, a lot of the players would tell you that, from scratch, I build them. I just don't see them and, create them in the stars, through media. We sit in the gym, we work, and we reap the benefits at the end of the day, on just sweating, getting it in. So.
And that you do, brother. I see it firsthand. Yes, you do.
Got to give those guys a lot of credit, as far as for my coaching. Rest in peace, Brian. Nike One.
Yes.
That's another guy that was always in my circle, in my corner, that I always gotta, show love to. So, that's really my basketball background. As far as the people that raised me playing the game and understanding the game and learning the game.
That's dope. Yo, all of y'all people that's watching me on Instagram right now, come over to YouTube. Y'all know, we don't record shows on Instagram anymore. We appreciate Instagram, but we moved to YouTube. Coach Smoke from South Shore is in the building. So come listen to his story. Y'all gonna wish y'all did if y'all miss out on this one. Hit the link in the profile and it'll direct you straight to the game. So, again, for all the things that I've been able to see you do, especially in summer league, very intense coach, but very passionate. And one day I would just sit back watching you, man, and I watch you sweat out your whole coaching shirt, bro. And I'll sit my guys like, yo, this guy's he coaching like he playing.
I always call myself the sixth man on the floor.
Right.
I still tell the kids, like, I never really finished my college career playing basketball. And I tell them, like, I still want to play. If I had your age, if I run out there, I play my hardest because they got to understand that, you got to play every game like it's your last, and that's what I'm teaching. That's what I'm trying to breed on the floor.
So another thing I will always wonder, right? Because I will always say to myself, and I ask you this, I'm like, yo, Smoke, where the hell you get these players at? Because I'm outside.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And some of the guys that you have playing with you, I'm saying, where did these guys come from? And your answer was?
I always raised the kids from young, and I try to build them from scratch. A lot of the players that were with me, they weren't stars in the beginning. And, I just see things in them and I try to get them to play to their best ability. And certain things that I see, I just try to bring the best out of them. That's one thing I think I do really well with a lot of unknown kids. I tap into their skill set and, I let them just play basketball. I always tell the kids it's freedom to play basketball. Who you are as a person is who you are on the floor. Play like who you are. So most of the times, we make good product, we make good players that come out and really show out. One of my proudest players, I know all the guys gonna get mad at me, Sekou Sylla. That's one of my favorite players.
Sekou, that's right.
Gotta say that he got it from the mud and, stayed in the lab every night, And when I do speak to him, he got that same hunger to prove to me, that he is the best on the floor. So, I just want to keep on getting more Sekou Syllas out there and, just trying to help the community area. That's it. That's really it.
Yeah. Listen, your guy Darnell Williams is in the building. Said respect to my Flatbush guy, Smoke.
He's Flatbush.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's my guy. It's my guy right there. Really watched him come up in the playgrounds. Myself young, watching him, every Sunday at Nas Park. Respect to those guys. Respect to a lot of those guys. Junie Sanders, Tone, Flight. A lot of those guys I watched in the park. Dwayne Hall, Beaver. That's one of my favorite point guards I watched, coming up. And I learned a lot from them. I learned a lot about, what it is to make it. Watching them in the mornings, getting up, taking their shots in Nas Park, other parks and the playgrounds, because East Flatbush is a hidden jewel. I always say that, 50s, 40s, 90s, 20s, 30s, a lot of us, we don't got a rec center. We got our backyards, we got a crate, nailed up to the back, wherever it is to get it in, So, a guy like Darnell saying salute is very big to me because, I watched him from the crate to the college floor. Real talk.
Salute my guy, Darnell Williams. My guy's definitely the real deal.
Exactly.
So all you guys out there, right? I'm just going to keep it a buck. He said that East Flatbush and the Flatbush area is his stomping grounds.
That's right.
No need to go poach, fam. You know what I'm saying? Respect the technique.
one thing I can say about my area, I'm really loved in my area. It's gonna be hard to poach. I'm like the president. 50s guys, everybody know.
Right.
Stand up, ball out. That's one of my guys right there too. He's doing a great job for the community.
Yes.
I'm just trying to get everything right and situated in my area. I'm still building certain things that I want to reach. It's not really particularly for the PSAL. It's really for my area and my town to, showcase it and let people understand that there is players on my side of town. We got passion, we got love for the game.
Oh, that's real, man. Where do you get the name Smoke from?
Okay. It's so funny that you asked me that, and I hope he taps in and watches it because Jerome Holman, refrigerator, You know, he gave me the name Fridge.
Yo, somebody, my guy, what's my man name? Robinson, Jamal Robinson. Hit me up. He hit me up today, and he said, you need to get Fridge in the show.
Fact. That's
I can show you the text. Fact.
Gave me the name on the train. We were going to UDC. You know, there was, you know, cracking jokes, whatever may have you. We had just finished playing. It was hot. It was like really, really, really hot. And I never forget that park was like steaming.
Right.
And we had some shoes that Zig had gave us. I think it was like some Reeboks, but they were like cashmere. So I was going so hard, you know, Fridge was laughing. He was like, yo, Smoke, like, God call you Smoke, like your sneakers looked like it was on fire, you know, running up and down. And, you know, Tyreek Leach was on the train with me.
Right.
Greg Johnson, who went to MLK. Those are my guys right there. Even Rasheem Little, you know, those guys on the train. He was like, we just going to start calling you that from now on. And it just stuck.
Yo, that's crazy that you mentioned that. It was, no, I think it was yesterday. Jamel hit me up. He was just like, yo, fam, these are some people that you need in the show. He didn't know I had Jacquay Walls. He said Carl Sanders. And he definitely, the first guy he mentioned was Fridge.
Gotta have Fridge on the show.
So we definitely gonna make that happen, man. You just gave it another stamp and solidified it.
He is the first player that I played with I ever seen like as a showman on the floor. Like I've never seen, you know, where we from, it's just we get into it. Like I've never seen somebody put on a show while they play basketball. From since 12, 13, Fridge was putting on a show while he was playing basketball.
Wow.
So you gotta have him on basketball heads.
Nah. It's definitely look, and I love what guys, you know, my thing about the show is if I don't reach out to you, you gotta get nominated by someone. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think the brotherhood should work like that. Somebody should be like, yo, Pooh, this guy, definitely official. It takes less time for me to do the research because my podcast usually done like 2 months or a month and a half. Right. So this is where I can spread it out. A lot of people around the city sound Brooklyn biased, but I got to go with my arm reach first.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? As you can see, I got my guy from Queens up here, Ted Portwine. You know what I'm saying? So I spread it out to Long Island.
Got spread it out.
Got a guy for after Sunday. I got Steve Sheppard from the Bronx, DeWitt Clinton. He was part of that winning program like in the 70s, right? Bringing him on. And then Monday, I'm going to let it out the bag tonight. I don't mind. Monday, we have a 2-time champion from the Houston Rockets, Mario Ellie, on the show.
Dope. Very dope.
You know what I'm saying? So then that's Manhattan.
That's Manhattan.
So all you guys that's out there saying I'm Brooklyn biased, look, fam, you can check in the book. They say the best players come from Brooklyn, but it's not about that.
Hey. No.
Nah. Much love to everybody out in the boroughs, New York City, Long Island, upstate. We run things. And I don't want to forget about my people up top, right? Because it's a lot of ball players. Right? Look, Smoke, it's not fair that the whole country, their states go against our city. And I got to let people know, we got players upstate too.
That's right. Yes, we do.
Out in Long Island, like, come on, we a collective. There you go.
Albany got players. We got players out here.
Yeah, fam. That's
a whole.
Yeah. They be trying to put their states against our city. Like, ease up, y'all. Word up.
I feel you. But I really can say that I don't really do a lot of this, but I am definitely enjoying the interview. I appreciate Basketball Heads for having me. It's just a blessing. You know, I'm just going to try my hardest this year to not disappoint you guys, and hopefully we be 4-time champions coming up this year.
There you go. People get to see another side of Smoke that they probably never saw before. And I guarantee you after this, your DM probably was flooded before, like, come on my show. But now they see you out the back, they're going to be like, yo, come on my show.
I got a couple guys already.
Yeah.
You know, that was in my DM already. Like, you doing a show tonight? And I was like, yeah. You know, I made sure I just got home early and, you know, practice and, you know, settled in.
And I waited. Only me and you know. Like, I waited. At like 4 o'clock, I put it up. And then my Instagram went crazy. Then I came home. I went to the court, shot a video. Then I put up another flyer. So guys is just like, oh, okay, he really doing the damn thing.
I like it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I do tune into most of your interviews, by the way.
I appreciate you, brother. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So when did let's talk about that first game, right? And was it with Coach Caldwell, like the first game that you ever played in under the whistle?
Yes, it was. First game under the whistle. I'll never forget. She gave out some shirts. You know, they were black and white, and they just had the number on the front and the back. And we played in the community center. And I never forget, like, she always played us against older guys. So, you know, we were playing against some older guys, and, you know, we had lost the game, and she had pulled us to the side and was like, look here, you know, you guys are playing against high school kids, and all of us were like still upset that we had lost, but just learning from her was awesome. Like, coming up, I couldn't find a better person to learn from, you know, more than just basketball, life in general. Like, she would always sit us down 30 minutes before practice and just talk about us, you know, life, school, whatever it was, and then we would hit the court. Definitely a blessing finding her.
Was you nervous, Smoke? Was you nervous?
Of course, you know.
Thank you. Just keep. I love when guys keep it. Yo, bro, 99.9 of us was nervous our very first game. I really find nervous. Guys who wasn't nervous during that.
And I never forget
game.
What she said to me when I checked in, because I didn't start, you know, because we were playing against all the guys. She was like, just make sure defense is first. And I said, I got you, coach. And I went in the game. I just played the hardest I could. So, you know, as far as development, you know, you can't find a better person than that lady. You can't replace her. You can't. Definite the bomb, I could say. I love Miss Caldwell. And I could say, as far as learning the game at the point guard spot, because she would always tell me, like, basketball is just universal. It's not about a spot, you know. It's about just, you know, being a player on the floor. And, you know, I started developing all different kinds of skills just under her, learning that aspect of it. It's not about one spot. It's about just being a player on the floor, you know. She would teach me post game. I was like, why are you teaching me that? You know, I'd never be down low.
Right.
Like, yo, I'm telling you, you got to learn how to rebound. You got, you know, all those things, you know, weak side rebounding, just the little itty bitty parts of the game, you know, she would teach. And, you know, even when I went to school, you know, learning little things, I'm like, wow, my grade school coach, you know, introduced me to the game, you know, taught me this from a young age. So I'm very proud to say that she's my coach.
Nah, listen, bruh, I told you this in the summer. You know what would be dope? Yo, Hassan Hussein, my man Hassan, hope I'm saying it right. Hassan Hustle is in the building, my guy from Staten Island. Say he want to show you love.
That's my guy right there.
You know what I'm saying?
That's my
For
guy.
sure. Listen, yeah, look, if we can find a way, right, when you get some time, you hit me up, be like, yo, Pooh, this is the day. I would love for you to present this to her.
That's right.
You know
I was going to come when you guys had the dinner. I was going to be her second guy. I was going to be there to watch her get the award, definitely.
Right. So I have, you know, like a few more trophies I got to give out to some people, but I want to hold that so maybe we could hook up one day. We go by a crib and present it, because she lived right down the block from my brother.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So we're going to make that happen, man.
Nice.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah. So now, when we was first started talking, you was mentioning some guys who was like some of the top players in the neighborhood. Like, who was the guy? You know, and you mentioned a few guys, but who was the guy in the neighborhood
that inspired me, or who was like the best player?
Who was the best player in the neighborhood?
There was, like, for East Flatbush, you gotta say, like, Stu Granger was a former pro.
Whew.
You know, he's from our area. You know, Rolando Blackman is a Ditmas Park guy. You know, shout out to Coach Gustus. He used to kill us in the park 3-on-3. Facts. Lace it up with him, he'd be like 56, still killing you.
Wow.
2 dribbles, that's all he need. I'm gonna say, for my era, like East Flatbush, you gotta watch like Beaver, you know, Dwayne Haller, who I said before. I'm gonna say point guard wise, like there was a lot of good players. You know, a lot of good players. It's just just ain't coming to mind like my area per se. But if you want to talk about 90s, you know, rest in peace, my guy Hector. You know, he was one of the illest players to walk. You know, who I idolized as a player coming up really wasn't from my neighborhood. He was from the neighborhood over. That's Ed Cota. You know, I loved watching Ed play from a little kid way up.
He is somebody that I think you got some background noise that's coming from. Is that okay?
Nah, I'm good.
All right. So Ed Cota is rarely talked about, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. He should be talked about more. I'm trying to find ways to reach out to him and give him his flowers, man. Let me tell you, when they talk about let's make that happen, Smoke, because I argue with guys a lot about certain dudes that when people talk about point guards in New York City, they don't mention Ed Cota, which they should.
Got to.
Which they should. Like you go from, you know, Tilden High School to North Carolina, even no matter if it's a prep year or not, I don't care about any of that. Like we talking about Tilden High School.
All-American as well too.
Facts. You get what I'm saying? Like we can't leave guys like that out. You know, we go with the commercial guys, the ones that everybody talk about, but there's a lot of guys in between who was right there on that level.
Fact though. You know, got to shout out my guy Andre Clark. He was on that level. Andre Clark was nice. I used to enjoy watching him play.
Facts.
You know, lot of players out there in Brooklyn I enjoyed like watching playing. Alan Griffin was definitely somebody I loved watch playing.
Oh yeah,
you know, he was one of the first guards. Todd Miles was nice.
Todd Miles, wherever you at, brother, come and get your flowers, man. We still love you. We got a lot of love for you, Todd.
I could say Malcolm's older brother, LeVar Grant, was a problem playing at New Utrecht. He played in the backcourt with my cousin. You know, my cousin was a pretty good player, Davis Lawrence. I used to love watching him play. There's a lot of good guards in Brooklyn, you know, underrated. One of my favorite guards, I will say, is Mook John Thomas. I loved watching him play coming up.
Facts.
He was like my underrated. I called him the underrated most hated. He always laced him up. Battle against anybody, you know. Definitely want to go hard at all times, you know. So I just love. I'm a biased Brooklyn guy myself, you know, but I love Brooklyn basketball to the fullest.
Yeah. This is right in our backyard, man. Yeah. Yo, you got a guy from Boston, Joe Almeida, checking you out. He said, genuine winner, visited his tournament at South Shore for years back, busy as he was. He always gave me a minute. Appreciate you, Boston. Kurt Diddy's in the building. So, yo, bro, you got a lot of people showing you love, man. Look, Joe is a guy, I'm not going to lie, when I first started Basketball Heads, I would check out his page, you know, to see all the stuff he was doing for Boston basketball.
Yep.
Right? And then I was checking to see if anybody was doing New York City. You know, Dave kind of go a little bit everywhere around the country.
Right.
Dave is everywhere.
Dave, that's my guy right there too. Dave go hard.
All things hoops. They was going everywhere. My guy A-Game. They was interviewing people from everywhere. Yep. But nobody was focused on New York City.
If you're talking about A-Game podcast, that's like my older brother.
Listen, right? He schooled me to this. Like the young guard. Okay. Like I always got love for him.
Like we lived around the corner from each other. We grew up together. You know, his little brother and I played basketball together. Like he used to take us to the park, shovel the snow. I'm telling you, we in the park. Like he actually taught me how to work out, to be honest. Ronald Souffrant.
Wow.
Like he actually used to come, his brother, he would have his little brother in the park with him.
Yes. And
we would play basketball, but afterwards he'd be like, why don't you stay and work on your game? I used to be like, what is that? You know? And he used to be like, yo, man, just come on, man. And we start working out at night. And I used to be like, oh, all right, like this is what it is. Like he definitely took me under the ropes as well, too. Bring me around to different parks, and we would have like a little crew all the time from our area, and we'd just go play 5-on-5 with whoever, you know, just play wherever we could, you know. But shout out to A-Game podcast as well.
Ron already know I got so much love for him, man. Like when I reached out to him to call him to ask him certain questions, you know, most guys could be like, yeah, this dude trying to do what I'm doing, I'm a kind of hate. anything that I needed, he was like, "Yo, OG, just call me, man. I got you."
Always humble, brother. One of my biggest supporters.
Nah, for sure.
Tell me keep pushing. Tell him X gotta be a Shore member 2020, whatever it is.
Right.
30, whatever it is, whatever grade he in.
Right. Nah, that's for real.
That's gonna be one of my point guards coming up.
That's dope. Yo, salute to my guy, Ross Sufran, A Game Podcast, Instagram, YouTube, all platform, wherever you can find them. He's a big supporter of Basketball Heads, and I'm a big supporter of his show. It's a brotherhood. We just try to keep it all together, man. So, salute. Yeah. No doubt, man. Wow. Who's this? AG Ball for Life, AG. Coach Shawn was coaching the first game I refereed in. He was coaching junior high school, JV South Shore versus at Curtis High School. He definitely tested me as a ref. Salute. Yo, don't they all say that? Like, yo.
Hey, any referee that's looking at this, man, trust me, I'm gonna give you a break soon. All right, all of y'all a break soon. Trust me.
Wow.
There's always a finish line to this.
That's right. So let's take it to high school, right?
Yeah.
How was your transition into Tilden, right? Well, let's talk about as a freshman and sophomore, then how your confidence grew differently as a junior and senior. Like, what was the difference?
My freshman year, I actually attended Thomas Jefferson High School. My freshman year. And I'm going to say Coach Towell was my JV coach. And I should have played varsity my freshman year. I just was really like rough around the edges. My mental wasn't, I don't think I was mentally stable to be a full-time basketball player at that point.
Got you.
I went to a camp, which Ziggy sent me to, and Tip, they sent me to Eastern Invitational, which is now Hoop Group right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which is now, Hoop Group is Eastern Invitational now.
Wow.
So I went to the camp. I played real good. And then a school from Jersey see me called Marist High School, which is, they're closed now.
Yeah, I know.
The head coach, who's another person that really opened up my game as far as understanding how to run a system, was Mike Leonardo. They say he was probably the second best coach in Jersey under Bob Hurley.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I remember him.
Good coach, played with some good competition. I actually made me understand what it is to run a high school program now. I still talk to him today on Facebook, or, we might call. We still have a brotherhood with those guys that we did play with. I could say that was a major year for me, my sophomore year. And I didn't really play that much, but I learned how to run a system. And my final 2 games was probably my best 2 games. We had played in the state tournament versus Plainfield. I think I had like almost close to a triple-double.
Nice.
And then we played against St. Anthony's. That was like a game that showed me as a player that, I could play against anybody if I could play against those guys. That was like Anthony Perry and Delvon Arrington and Rashawn Bruno. They had a great team. They were like number 1 or number 2 in the country. We battled them that day. And I was only a sophomore. And after the game was over, Coach Hurley shook my hand. And I was like, you know what? I'm ready. The following year, my coach had left, and I ended up at the local school. I'm from East Flatbush, so I said, I'm going to just go to Tilden and play. I played for Rock Eisenberg 1 year. He's also another good coach, 4 game.
Yes.
Boston, a Zipper. He knows exactly what I'm talking about when we're talking about that. I love his system. He was real prepared, like college coach in high school, and then the following year, it wasn't a great year, he had left the program, and we just played with the guys, and I just was trying to catch wreck my senior year, to be honest. Somebody see me at an AAU tournament. I think Coach Darryl Grady from Staten Island, that's how I know TG and all those young guys.
Okay.
He had brought me out to a tournament, and I had won MVP of the tournament, and it was a couple of prep schools was there. Notre Dame Prep was one of them.
Right.
And I never forget, my father had drove me down to Notre Dame Prep to go for the workout. I worked out, And the coach liked me. And I said, all right, I was dealing with an organization called Brooklyn Beast. That's who Coach Darryl was coaching for. He said, listen, I got the connection and, let's go up there. Let's make it work. Shout out to Mike Schiraldi, good brother, great person, always helped me out, always had confidence in me in my game. Went to Notre Dame Prep. That was a great experience for me. Great experience. 40 boys in the house, Coach Barton was our coach. He was a tough coach. And, open gym was like basketball heaven. Like we used to have like the best run, and played the best competition. I remember playing, guys like Karan Butler, MCI, and
my prep school, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. Playing my guy called Krause at St. Thomas More. And,
St. Thomas More, yes.
Playing A Butter at Milford.
Woo.
So it used to be good competition all the time. And, that showed me like, basketball never stops. Prep school, and then I went on to junior college for a year. I think I was like number 3 or 4 in the country in assists that year. Wow. I played really well. My mind wasn't too focused when I went to junior college. And, I got into a little mishaps and I just ended up saying, you know what, I'll settle in and go to Mount St. Mary's. That was the only school on the table left. And I said, look,
hold on. Time out. Because you speeding past, because like you just speed past, I was leading the country in assists. Like,
no, not the country. I was probably like 3rd or 4th in the nation in assists.
Still, you top 5. You know how hard that is? Yeah. You know as a coach. You already know as a coach how hard that is, period.
I was dominant. I had a lot of good talent around me. Mark Davis, my guy Brandon Thomas. I had a guy, Tim Grano. Always brotherhoods everywhere I went, as far as schools and everything. My guy, C. Nick, that's one of my good friends up to today, Carl Nickerson. We had fun. And then I went on to Mount St. Mary's, and at that point, I always tell kids all the time, you could get a shot to play basketball, but you got to want to be an everyday basketball player. You can't be a sometimes basketball player. So, after I left college, I just said, you know what? Rest in peace, Doc Naselli, Coach Darryl Grady as well.
Hold on. Time out, fam. Too many texts, man. Too many texts, yo. Too many texts. First of all, I want to back it up a little bit. Then I'm going to bring it forward.
Yes, sir.
Some information. I was the first guy in New York City to go to MCI. Then Carlton Hines came behind me. Thanks to Tom Kachowski. The St. Thomas More, the Notre Dames, all of those schools, the Milford Academies, great programs.
Yep.
You mentioned you 3rd in assists in the country in a league that was tough as any league in the country.
Florida JUCO was tough.
Right.
JUCO was tough.
So then,
but I'm not really saying like in Florida. I'm gonna say in the whole country.
That's what I'm saying, fam. That's not like something to snack on. Then Mount St. Mary's, tough school because they was in our conference when I was at FDU, and I remember them having those hillbillies that during the halftime game, during the timeouts, they would run into the bleachers with their hands, and they were dressed up in hillbilly
Love
suits.
my Mountaineers.
Yo, bro, a crazy place to play.
Crazy place to play.
Now, you play with, for Doc Naselli, which was my AAU coach with the Broncos.
Right. That's right. That's my AAU coach right there. That's the person that actually
smoke. We gonna. What was the play we ran with everybody? Icy, was it? What was
Ice
it?
Cream.
Ice cream.
I still run it.
Whoa.
Today. Kids will tell you that right now. I still run low box, high box, still run stack.
Us way back then.
Double stack, triple stack. I still run all that. It's always a tribute to him because he really introduced me to the game of coaching, real tough love and made me understand that nobody's going to give you anything. You got to earn everything you get, So that's why I could say, if you want to talk about anybody that I learned from as well, too, as far as the business of basketball, Doc Naselli, my guy Joey, I always talk to still, Coach Joey's one of my good guys. I call him Uncle Joey, Salute to the Broncos, student athletes.
No
I still
knock
play my
to
team.
Gauchos and Riverside, but you couldn't show up. You couldn't miss practice to show up to Doc like you gonna play.
I feel you. You know,
Like no one.
2 days a
I'm
week.
about, you better. You wasn't playing.
Down at that boys club gym down on 28th. You know,
We had Jason Williams on our team. Jason Williams, Malloy, Naismith. Like nobody. If you ain't come to practice, you didn't play.
the team I played with was like me, Carl Krauser,
Ooh.
Jeff McMillan. We still talk all the time. Justice Graham. Every time he shoot a three, he know what he would say after he shoot the three. My guy, Big Corey. Who else I could say was on that team? My guy Eric Thomas, that Thompson that went to Lincoln. That's my boy.
Yes.
Ice. You know, so we played all over the place. We was like the underrated, most hated. That's what we called ourselves. And I felt like he really, really revived my career and made people see that I was a Division I player. You know, and gave me confidence as well too. You know, on the road, gave me a shot. Didn't care about your name. Didn't care about what you was ranked.
No,
you could run a system. You could play on a high level. You know, Doc give you opportunity. You know, so salute to Doc, salute to Joe, all day.
No doubt. And in '86 we beat Riverside, and you name them, from Arnold Bernard, Lloyd Daniels, you name them. You named the name that was nice back in the '80s. Doc said, "Listen, we don't care about their names."
That's right.
We don't care about their names and their rankings.
That's right.
True talk. Right. Yo, Mike Garrett's in the building. And Jalen O'Brien.
Come on now, Mikey Garrett is like my brother. That's my East Flatbush guy, my 40s guy. He an East Flatbush killer. Everybody know what time it is with my guy Mikey.
No doubt.
He come on the court. He laced it up for Grady. You know, he's a city champion as well. You know, played with my guy Woody Souffrant, which is Ronald Souffrant's younger brother.
Wow.
You know, that's like family. Like we played together on high profile together from babies coming up. You know, we would always battle each other in CYO. I would play with OLM. He would play with a team called Little Flower. You know, shout out to my guy Kwame. He know what it is too. You know, so
I think we're missing that to this day. Like CYO, we missing CYO and the Nitro tournaments. The housing tournaments.
We are.
Right?
Those
is like the training grounds early for kids.
Definitely. And they gave a lot of people an opportunity to like see different parts of Brooklyn. Like when I played Nitro coming up, it used to be all the way in the back, like, you know, Williamsburg in this small little box gym.
Facts.
You know, and it was good wars, and we would play under the name like Zega have a team in it, you know, just to hoop in it. So I definitely understand what you're talking about, you know, just the beginning.
Yeah,
that's why I definitely want to say it again. I definitely appreciated coaching in Brevoort this summer. Felt like just my beginnings of coaching again. You know, like when I coached in Dunkers and, you know, Dunkers Delight. Shout out to Dunkers Delight. That's my area.
Yes, definitely.
Lady J, you know, I love the town.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm from up the hill on Crown Street, right? Because all my brothers and sisters went to Wingate. That was his own school for me, right?
Okay.
Then my sister moved to Bed-Stuy. You know, family moved to Bed-Stuy, moms, and it's like, okay, you're not going to boys and girls. It was just like, I was kind of stuck, and everybody's like, how the hell you get out to Lincoln? It was like, oh, my father lived out there. Wow. So that's a whole different story, man. But Wingate would have been the school. I always look back at it now. If things a little bit different, I probably have been at Wingate. Who knows how the turns would have went, especially during the 80s, the hard 80s.
I mean, it's still there. You know, you got a young coach there, Coach Kevon Baker. He trying to bring it up. He from the area. You know, shout out to him.
No doubt.
I always said if somebody just seen the vision as far as Wingate in the area, you know, because that's like East Flatbush, you know, neighbor right across the border with these 40s, 30s kids. They go there. Most of the people from my junior high school, when they graduated, they went there. I was their zone school, Wingate. So my brother went to Wingate coming up. So
yeah, I
definitely understand that dynamic. So I'm wishing them well this season.
Yeah. They're putting together a good program over there. So, you know, I know the coach from Wingate, I saw him. He was like, yo, we're going to be in Brevoort next summer, so we'll get a better chance to look at him. And I'll be seeing all you guys during the year anyway. So that's good, man. That's that love, brother.
That's what's up. Gotta show it.
Yeah. So you talked about your inspiration for us coaching, right? How did you end up at Adelphi Academy?
Well, it was so funny. I remember playing with my guy Desmond Herod with the Broncos coming up back in the day.
Okay.
And like everywhere, he actually even introduced me to the guy Mike Schiraldi, and I ended up like, really rocking with Schiraldi for most of the time. And he was always around the school. And it was one day I had seen him in the area because he used to live in Canarsie. We bumped into each other like in a bagel shop. He was like, "Yo, why don't you try to, revive Adelphi Academy?" I told him, I said, I actually went down there before and I had put a player. I just finished speaking to him too, like the other night, Sammy Obeto. He ended up going to UIC. He was tough, ended up being like 6'8", 6'9", small forward. He was a great player. He used to battle for me everywhere. He's from Brooklyn, he's from the Sty originally.
Okay.
Right. So when I had him in there for a little while, and the coach at the time, forgot the coach's name, and it's on the tip of my head at the time, but he had said that he was leaving the job or whatever may have you, and he wanted me to come down. So I went down there, and I'll never forget, it was the guy who interviewed me. His name was Peter Okerson, and when he just gave me like a piece of paper to write, and it was like questions on it, and one of the questions was, "Why do you want to be a high school coach?" I just said, "That's like the greatest job in the world." I didn't put anything else. And I handed him the paper, and he looked at it, just seeing my credentials as far as me playing, and then he seen what I wrote. He was like, "Nobody's written this, you're hired."
Wow.
Right. And he said, it's a small stipend or whatever. I said, I'll take it, it's whatever. And I went down there the first day, trained the team. I still talk to the players up to today too. My guy Rashad Kadu, that's my guy. All those guys up there in the Bay Ridge area. Like, I love those kids too. Like, they really, really opened their arms to me and let me in and let me, coach them. So, at first, the first year was rough, but got them better, got to the playoffs. And then the second year, we actually won the whole thing.
Wow.
We had won the private school league, but we weren't registered to go to the state tournament or anything.
Right.
So we won our division. And that was another idea for me to say, well, I could really do this. I had a couple of other good players that went there. I had like Lamont Samuels that went to Fordham, Derek Randall that went to Rutgers and went to Pitt. My guy Dion Waiters, one of the illest players. Not Dion Waiters, the NBA player, but yeah, Dion Waiters was tough. One of the best defenders I ever coached. Gavin Scott. I had a good crew. My guy Deshaun Carter, Buddha, was tough. People don't recognize how good he was as a player. Marcus, I had a lot of good players that went there after a while.
I'm listening to all the people you coach, and I'm going, "Your fan, you're not that old." You know what I'm saying?
Not at all. How about your guy JoJo Swift? He was with me too there. One of my favorite players too. He gonna always laugh. Is Jay Will for the Kill?
Yeah.
I'm one of his first coaches. He knows that. Jay Will. That's one of my favorite facts.
That's
Jamel
my guy.
Fuentes. That's one of my guys right there too.
Wow.
I like that group of kids right there. Those guys actually, knew I was a younger coach and opened up their arms to me and said, "You know what? We ain't afraid, to play for you." So, shout out to those guys too.
So, Adelphi kind of prepared you for your challenges that you had to face in the PSAL.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get to South Shore, and when did you know it was going to be your home?
All right. Alani Beckles, he gonna laugh. We went to prep school together. So his older brother is Mike Beckles, who was the former coach at the school.
Yeah.
So, we used to always kick it or whatever, have you. Give me back my N1 mixtape, volume number 1, Alani Beckles. Okay.
No.
Give me back my tape, right? We were always kicking, and he was like, "Yo, man, I see the way how you are as a point guard on the floor. Like, I came home from school, and he was like, well, why don't you start coaching?" And I was like, and I started doing like little stuff in my neighborhood, just with same Ronald Soufrant. They have a younger brother, Rodney.
Right.
We started getting up little teams. My guy Tyrone Cook and people from the area. I started coaching, and Mike started seeing that I was doing young kid basketball, And he was like, yo, why don't you just come lock in with me? And I started locking in with him with the school at first. I was just sending them players. And rest in peace, my man Kaiser, I had put him on staff. And same Coach Ricky that's with me now, I had put her on staff because, we had relationships with just playing in the streets, park tournaments and stuff like that. And I said I would help him at first. And, I got competitive. And I never forget, one of my favorite players that I coached, Charles Jenkins, walked in the gym and probably had like 40 on them.
Yo, hold on, fam. Yo, time out.
Yeah.
Yo, the amount of players you have coached in your young year, your brother, you coached a lot of dogs. And you didn't even start naming the other kids that you didn't get to South Shore yet. We didn't even get to South Shore yet.
I mean, like, that's one thing I always say about the kids that I did coach way back when. I always got to give them a shout out, all the time because I was real young and they gave me opportunity to coach them. Charles was one kid that was always loyal. Shout out to my guy, Nini. He knows. Anthony Stooks, he knows. It's one of my favorite players right there too. Thomas Manzano, I speak to weekly, that went to Wyoming. Those guys right there, one of the first group of kids that actually opened up to me and said, you know what, you could come coach me. I was recruiting for the Broncos. Like, why don't you guys come down? Because at one point, Doc was at his age, and he just was like, look, I'll run the program. Whoever comes down. And I was like, nah, we're going to get this how it was. And that actually started my passion on recruiting and getting things going. And then I started getting guys from Brooklyn to come and play. And, Broncos started buzzing a little bit again. And then I started doing the Shore, and just started working, like our first group of kids at the Shore was actually my family member, Terrence Samuel and Shamiek Sheppard and those guys or whatever. And we built those kids from scratch at a local beacon down the block from the school. I would have them there, at nights from like 8 to 10, just training them myself, getting my, just getting my whole basketball jitters out, with them and, showing them the game. And Terrence ended up becoming a national champion at UConn, right out of South Shore. People don't, really talk about that. Shamiek Sheppard went to South Carolina out of the Shore. He's one of my favorite players. He's probably, kids don't get mad. He is the hardest. He's probably the toughest player to play in the South Shore jersey, number 12. I got to retire that. Word, and those kids really, really gave me an opportunity in my young 20s to really, Devin Wilson, Tyrone Johnson, Darius James, Kadeem Carrington, Anthony Vernon. Those guys, I always say, if you don't notice, I say first and last name with those guys and kids. It's because we really bonded, David McIntosh, we can't forget you, all those guys that actually helped me become who I am today. Because players make the coaches. It's never, ever, ever. Don't ever think that you're the greatest coach in America. It's the kids that's on the floor going hard for you and buy into what you're doing is what's making you successful out here. So I always mention the kids first and me last. Right.
So funny you say this, right? Because as you see, I sent you a couple of flyers, but the first flyer had King of the PSAL, right? On the bottom, right? And I said to myself, that's the thing. Said, I don't think you're going to like that. Put it down. No, I said that to myself. I right on the bottom, on the top, it said 3-time. Those are facts, right? 3-time PSL city champions, 1 state champion, right? Cool. Yep. On the bottom, it had King of the PSL. And I wasn't thinking about what anybody else thought. Because right now, you are the reigning king as far as my eyes and how I see it. But I said to myself, I don't think he would want that. You know what I'm saying? Because he don't seem like a braggadocious coach as saying, I am that guy. And listen to you name all of these players that you coach. And then saying, thank you for allowing me to coach you.
Facts. Those are the guys that make you successful. It's never you. It's always the players. I think a lot of young coaches need to understand that, and then you'll understand why kids might rock with me. Gotta appreciate the kids. They're the ones that's going to war for you. They're the ones that's playing every day. Gotta show them love. Some of them tough love, treat them differently from others, but at the same time, gotta show them the love. That's what they're looking for.
Now, have any other coaches in the PSAL inspired you, or did you feel like it was yours for the taking?
Of course, you gotta say Tiny Morton. You gotta say the king of the PSAL. You gotta say that. Watching him coach, watching him coach big games and watching him coach public school basketball was big and key to me. Another coach that really inspired me, rest in peace, Larry Major, inspired me majorly.
Always get from love.
Basketball,
always, yes.
Because if you want to talk about why I found all the bigs and the size, and that's what I looked at as far as high school basketball. When you watch a Robeson team or you watch a Lincoln team, coming in, I'm gonna say, even now, like I watch Billy Turner, he's definitely somebody that inspires me because he works with what he has, and he's like an excellent X and O's guy, defensively and offensively. The only person that scouts me correctly. Oh man, I'm scared of him.
Yeah, I gotta put the interview up, man. Definitely.
A lot of coaches inspired me in the game that I watched, through the PSAL. Coach Love, definitely Coach Lovelace. From when I was a player to even now coaching right now, seeing her still standing on the sideline, still her same philosophies. You gotta respect the game with that, yeah.
Now, would you say the PSAL coaching is like a brotherhood, or it's more cutthroat? What would you say about that?
I'm going to say, as of right now, it's a brotherhood.
Okay.
To me, I feel like, some coaches may not get along with others, but, I got to respect the fact that, a lot of the coaches that are in the game, they've been in the game for a long time and they're servicing their areas, regardless of how we feel. They're getting up the same way like I'm getting up every day, and they're grinding with their kids. So I feel like it is a brotherhood more or less on the PSAL side, because we know that we got the less resources and we do have to band together to do certain things.
When and I'm gonna jump to this. This was like further down, far as when they put out the scheduling today, not the scheduling, like the brackets.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn A1, A2, A3, and A4. I looked at it, and just from a overall look at it, I felt just looking at it, especially some of the schools and locations, I thought it brought back that neighborhood rivalry.
Like,
you get what I'm saying? Like in some cases, some schools are a little bit further than others, but for the most part, everybody's in the same area.
I know Coach Ray and Mrs. Morgan and those guys at the PSAL. They're gonna say he's such a coward because he didn't say not a word at the PSAL meeting, the other day. I respect what they're doing as far as bringing it back to how it used to be. I think other programs will be allowed to grow. The neighborhood rivalries will be able to come back into style. The only thing is I'm going to say is I think the Board of Ed need to change a lot of things for that to happen. The idea of what we're trying to do, I feel like at this point, we're not ready, but Brooklyn is such of a big borough. I call it like a state damn near, to where we'll be able to bounce back in like a year or two, and it'll be the old rivalries again. The only way that could really happen, though, and kids staying in their neighborhood and playing, is if they bring back zone schools. If you don't do that, it makes no sense to call it a neighborhood rivalry, because a kid could live down the block and go to school in the Bronx if he just applies. So that's going to be a little bit tough, but at the same time, where there's a will, there's a way. I think it'll work. Even my alma mater, I see my alma mater in the league. I smiled. Tilden's in the league again.
Yeah.
They'll be able to get a shot to say that they're champions. So, I understand what they're doing. And, this is how I look at it. Basketball is a game of accepting all challenges. So it doesn't matter who you're playing. You just got to play till the buzzer's over. It doesn't matter if it's AA, it's always going to be a game. Somebody's going to come to compete. You got to respect all opponents as they come. So can't look at it as, them breaking the league. You got to look at it as them trying to build growth to other programs, and not 100 kids in one spot trying to play basketball. Now, you'll have more stars, you'll have more players, you'll have more kids to choose from, and a lot of kids will be known that wasn't known, to get an opportunity someplace else. Another thing they got to do is they got to change the standpoints on who's coaching the kids. I did see it in the PSAL meeting. I did see Mrs. Morgan say, a lot of the coaches, gotta want to coach harder and gotta want to be better, coaches or whatever you have. I gotta respect that from her saying that, because, that's just true. A lot of us, we put our heart and soul in it, and then there's, another half that, they there for the check. So, those guys that's there for the check come off them jobs and give it to some people that really want to do it for their community in their area. And you'll see the difference in New York City basketball as a whole if they change a little bit of the aspects. I'm one of the few that got through, to help my area and to showcase, the love and passion for the game. So I feel like if they could open up the doors more for other young coaches like myself, basketball will change out here in the city.
Yeah, I just to look at, to think about the restrictions that they have for coaches, and those same restrictions don't apply to the Catholic schools, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you have the Catholic schools, and there's a situation where, the Catholic schools are better financed, have hungrier coaches, and have coaches that are not tied to certain restrictions, they're able to do more with more, right? The PSAL, dudes got to do more with less. And it's kind of hard when you got to tell someone these certain restrictions that you got to have, which, again, that's their rules, but I understand that point, right? And I'm just going to throw this in there. When I started doing my research for the show and looking at the state championships, I noticed, wow, they didn't start counting state championships to 1979.
Wow.
I wonder, why is that? Smoke, do yourself a favor. After you get off the show, go to Wikipedia, type in New York State Championships, and just go for the top. I don't want you to say nothing, because you got a job to protect. I'm going to say it. You're going to say to yourself, is this rigged? Like, why is it like this? And you're going to, it's going to see it's a pattern. It's become a pattern. Now, how come they wasn't counting this in the 70s or the 60s when Clinton was winning all these championships? Boys and girls, when they was winning all these championships, 18 for Clinton, 14 for boys and girls. Wow. Now you add that to your 3, tiny 11, right? Now, and we stack them up to the Catholic school. It's a little bit different.
Correct.
So now it's like, Catholic schools got more state championships, but when they start counting.
Wow. 1979.
Oh, yes. Mr. Basketball started in 1986. And I don't even know the dude who won it, the Mr. Basketball in 1986. Oh, wow. And we won the city championship at Lincoln in 1986.
Wow. Who did you beat, by the way?
Manhattan Center.
Okay.
We beat Manhattan Center because when I interviewed John Arnold, they wrote us off. When I interviewed Kenny Anderson, we had to play them up at Glen Falls. Wow. They wrote us off. We beat them in overtime. I'm getting Arnold Bernardo here soon, too, and I guarantee he's going to say the same thing. We beat them in double overtime. Now, think about this. 1986, we had to play 3 games. Malloy, first night, 8 o'clock. Long Island Lutheran at 8 o'clock the next night or 7:30. Malloy, overtime. Long Island Lutheran, double overtime. Then 12:30 in the afternoon against Binghamton. Mind you, Binghamton lost the year before to All Hallows in 1985.
Wow. I'm taking it back.
So when I look at it, I'm going to myself, why? Okay, they was trying to get things over early. Like, this is the state championship. You're going to have this like 12:30 in the afternoon after we done play 8 o'clock at night?
Wow.
It's not AAU, fam.
It's not. But, the experience is always great.
No, I'm not mad. I'm just look, brother, just to say I'm a city championship, because you know how it goes, Smoke. We count the city more than we count the state.
Which is true.
You can ask anyone. So whatever. And I respect those guys. And the
Got
experience I would never take away from it from the world. It gave me a little, a little clout, helped me go to the MCI and Fairleigh Dickinson. All those things kind of helped out.
Right.
But just do you go back and look at the history.
Yeah. Definitely gonna do that.
The fix is it. So
but this year was great. This year was great.
For sure. I'm gonna bring it all the way down, brother. Just so you can give some guys, and I wanted you to give away all your secrets, right?
Okay.
What are some of the things that coaching could do to build a program? See, everybody want to coach a team, but you have a program.
One thing what you said in the beginning is you said you don't want to have anybody steal. What did you say? You don't want to have anybody steal money.
Poach your players, right? No, or steal like your recipe. Right, my recipe. Right.
Well, I'm gonna say this about my recipe. It's just like Floyd Mayweather's recipe on defense. We don't plan to. We don't look at the other opponent. We just prepare for the opponent. For me, I'm gonna say it again. One thing I do see kind of good far ahead is a player from young. I might look at him up and down and be like, I got the eye sometimes. And, if a player from my area, who's tapped in with me, we get in the park or we get in the gym, wherever it is, and they got that dedication, all of a sudden it becomes a player. So for me, you can't steal a recipe or copy or take a swag. It's just something that's inside you that makes a player who they are, So I just feel like, my recipe is just dedication and finding the right kid that wants to do it, And if I find 5 to 8 kids from my neighborhood that want to do it, that's a joy. But that was the 2-time city champions, to be honest. I found a group of kids from my neighborhood that wanted to hoop. Some from Flatbush, some from the East, some from Canarsie area, and they just bonded and ran through the competition, like family. So I look at it like that's all it is for me. That's my recipe, just building camaraderie from young and really teaching the kids the game from young, just grooming them. That's it.
So you win your first city championship.
Yep.
How are you feeling after the first one? You 3 deep now, like you kind of a veteran now. How did it feel to win the first one?
The first one, it felt like mission accomplished because, I didn't tell you that I was the assistant coach at the school for probably like 12 to 13 years watching us lose, heartbreak games in the quarters. And, we lost a lot of times in the quarters with great teams. And then to finally get past the quarterfinals that year versus Robeson, that game to me was a city championship, believe it or not. So once we got past the quarters, I said, all right, now the South Shore curse is over. And, we just went from there. And I ain't gonna lie, shout out to Femi Odukale, Kadary Richmond, Sekou Sylla, Dante Spencer, Chris Jean Pierre, Kevon Wallace, those guys, Isaiah Richards, those guys, they mean a lot to me. They mean a lot to me. Kareem May, come on now. My guy Pop, those kids mean so much to me. I wouldn't be who I am without them.
Dang, you holding that trophy in the air. They bring that banner out. Now was it at the Barclays or Garden?
It was at the Barclays, the first one.
Was it the Barclays? I just
that's what made it like, I ain't gonna lie. We played against Christ the King that year at the Barclays at a little event called Battle of the Apple. Darren Duncan, you my guy.
Yes.
We played and we played well. So when I got back to the floor on the game, it was like, wow, this kind of feeling like home court. And I'm a big Brooklyn Net fan. So I'm like, wow, this is just great. And the kids were ready. They were ready. I never forget my last guy on the bench. I won't say his name. He called me the night before. He said, how much we winning by tomorrow, coach? I said, you need to pray that we wake up tomorrow morning to see the game.
Ooh.
Instead of focusing on how much we going to win by. He said, Coach, I'm going to give you my 100 tomorrow. I said, all right, good night. We went from there. So that was like an odd day. It was an odd day. My lights was off in the house too. I never forget the night before. My assistant coach at the time, Lewis Watkins, was with me. We was just talking a little bit and just worked out great. Worked out great the next day. Kid just came to play. It was quick too. It was a quick game. Right.
Yeah. And then you win your second, and then, which is sweet.
Quiet as kept, not to cut you.
Okay.
Our first year winning, and the boys do know that they should have won the state that year. They dropped the ball on that game. It was a great game versus Stepanak. Stepanak played their ass off. Shout out to Coach Pat. He had a great game plan for us. They shot the ball, I think, like 60%, something like that, for the game. And they took us out. But I felt like we were a better team. I just felt like they just had to understand that, like right now, at today's time, I think it would have been a different game. But that was one of the greatest games I experienced coaching as coach.
Now, how many games did y'all play to make it to the state championship?
That year we were 30-3 or 30-4 or something like that.
No, I'm saying how many games when y'all went up to Glen Falls did y'all have to play to get to the state championship?
We played the first game. We played against a school. I forgot. I know that the coach used to go to Ryan Blackwell. He used to go to Syracuse.
Yeah. So y'all didn't play the winner of the Catholic school?
No, we played an upstate public school. The winner of the Catholic school played against, I think they played against Stepanak or what's this? Yeah, they played against, I forgot how it went. I know we played against
Stepanak, it will be the winner of, because Stepanak is in New Rochelle.
They played Luha. They played Luha that year and they won.
Okay.
To go to the finals, and then we had forgot the name of the school, but I just know that Ryan Blackwell, he was the coach. It was an upstate public school. We had beat them, and then we played the final game versus the Catholic school.
Yo,
so
hold on.
It's like, yeah.
Yo, bro, I'm telling you. This is why I know the fix is in. Look, this is how it's supposed to go. The PSAL school and the winner of the Catholic school city championship, that's the first game in Glen Falls. Now, I don't know how they do this whole switcheroo thing.
All right, so this is what happened, right?
Okay.
The public school upstate or like Mount Vernon or however, get it? Upstate New York, period. Then you got the private school AA.
Yes,
Then you had the Catholic school AA. That's what they did. So they just made 4 teams. I think it was fair because every year they round robined it. So
okay, that's what I'm saying, because they had to switch it every year. Okay,
right.
got
so
you.
Times it'd be like public school to play against the Catholic school.
Got you.
Like that. And they definitely, the only problem that we did have at one point was like Luha would get in because they wasn't in the league. But, at the end of the day, when you see their squad and you see how the coach coaches them, you got to respect it and say, they one of the top teams out here.
Got you. Okay, understandable. You calm me down a little bit, Coach. Thank you, because I'm about to go off again.
Yeah,
No so that next year, you win the city again. Who do y'all face up in the state?
We faced Luha the first game, and they just, Andre Caraballo, who's at St. John's now, was a bad little boy. He just brought it to us. Played really well. And he led his team. And that was like one of the outcoming parties for young Griffin as well, too. Young Griffin was letting us know. AJ, that's in the NBA now. He was playing well. His brother was a tough player as well, too. That was a good crew. They just beat us.
Who's Liverpool versus South Shore? Who's Liverpool?
That's who the team name was, Liverpool.
Yes.
That was a team that Ryan Blackwell coached my first year.
Okay.
And they had the kid Charles Pride on the team, who's a tough college player right now for Bryant University, I think.
See? You got your Vikings, South Shore Vikings on here helping you out, man. That's dope. Salute. It just says South Shore Vikings, so they're in the building.
That's probably my AD. That's my guy.
Okay, Green Hub Chips, South Shore in the building. Via Jago.
All day.
Yeah. And One Life to Live, definitely in the building.
All day.
Yeah, they give you support. Now listen. Last year, I'm at what was it? Summit High School, Brooklyn Championship.
Borough,
yeah. Right? I have to go up to Rucker, right?
Right.
Because they're having some uptown, and my phone is ringing off the hook. Yo, son, you on your way? Son, you on your way? I'm coming. Yo, it's a blowout. I'm about to be out halftime. Right? Then the game changed. And like, this is honestly just one of the better games that I've seen in a long time, right? We all know Eagle Academy won that game. So I'm getting mad text messages like I wasn't there. Everybody hit me up. But guys are saying, yeah, but wait till they see him again. Yeah. And I didn't even think. I was like, Borough Championship, maybe they'll see him again. Maybe they risk they tip point. Yo, get Kevin Hamilton on the show. All right, cool. That's my guy. All right, cool. I'll bring him on the show. We're going to talk about it. Right? I go to the city championship. The Barclays Center. Big stage. This is like Jay-Z concert.
He's like Jay-Z concert.
Because some kids never saw Jay-Z perform on the big stage. It's cool at the high school gym. But then now you got the big stage. Your kids used to the big stage. And I just saw a difference in the game. And you got, no knock to Eagle, but that backdrop in the pro arena is different. It's different. For them shooters, how you looked at the court, I was just watching, it was just total out of sync, and your kids was just, they felt at home there.
It's so funny you said that. When I walked into the building, one of the guys from the security was like, "Coach, you look nervous." I said, "I ain't nervous. I'm cool." He said, "You shouldn't be. This is like home to you." I just started smiling. I said, "Yeah, this is going to be a good day."
As I watched y'all warm up, trust me, I'm looking at body language. I'm looking at everything.
I felt like, see the crew that you're talking about that just won it this past year, they needed to lose that Borough game.
Got you.
Understand what it is to lose. And, we were on like a 15-game winning streak at the time. We only lost 3 games last year that season. People don't even realize it. And that was one of those games that they had to lose. And I never forget, it was fourth quarter and overtime. It was fourth quarter, as a matter of fact. And I told my point guard, I was like, listen here, we're going to win or lose with what we do on the floor, So I felt like that was one of the greatest learning lessons that me as a coach and the kids at the time took, in the boroughs. And I used to always preach them to practice, like, we don't want to lose at the wrong time. We need to prepare better. We need to focus better. We need to not take competition lightly. I even posted on Twitter, basketball is competitive, right before the game, come and play. And they definitely came, and, shout out to Coach Kevin and Eagle and their staff. They worked hard.
Yes.
Shout out to their fans, because I think the fans really won the game.
because not only that, and again, after halftime, it seemed like all the Eagle crowd was there.
And they were there. They were there from the beginning to end.
But then, of course, it
was a great game.
And then the people in the crowd, everybody likes to see an underdog win, right? So then everybody comes in. But I'm gonna ask you something, Smoke.
Yeah.
Yo, you tapping into my computer, fam? Because it says, let's talk about the loss to the New Boys on the Block Eagle Academy, but I rephrased it a certain way, right? I said, then the championship game blowout. Did your kids need to lose that game to recapture that fire that made them champions?
Yeah, definitely.
You already knew. So you already knew beforehand.
If you can ask some of the former players that, before practices and games that, I was letting them know, we can lose, we need to respect the game. And, and I'm very happy that, we went through that, because I think even my guard that's on the ball for me this year, understands like, yo, we can lose. So I feel confident in this season of us coming up and probably coming out victorious again.
Yeah, man. So, look, brother, I want to say this. So, we found out Kevin Kearney has moved to South Shore.
Yes, sir.
Knowing how you are, so you're in the South Line, and knowing Kev, I was telling him, I said, and he'll tell you this. I said, yo, I don't know if you built to play for Smoke. I said, yo, because you don't have any dog in you. And I don't think you know how good you are. Because we always pushing him, like to tell him, like, fam, you don't know how good you are. You are so skillful. You could do a lot of things, but you don't push yourself to the limit.
Certain college coach in the gym today said that about him. Like, he's a specimen.
Yo, I don't think this kid knows how good he can be.
I got you. I'll bring it out of him. I think he's going to be special.
Yes.
Got a lot of confidence in Kevin. Big faith in Kevin. I think he's going to be one of the top players in the city. If not this year, by next year. He's coming along really good for us. I'm preaching every day to him just to be a everyday basketball player. He's buying in. He wants to play. He wants to play. And that's just the number one thing for any kid.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
So I feel really, 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 really excited to have him. He actually brought back, some energy in me, just him being in the building, to be honest.
He never says no. If you ask him, if you tell him to do something, he's going to do it. He's going to be willing to do it and going to ask you, do I have to do it anymore?
Yeah.
So you tell Kev, man, I'm a super big supporter of him. Whatever he needs from myself and the community here, man, we got his back because we want to see that young brother succeed.
Right.
And thank you, Smoke. Appreciate you on that one, brother. For sure.
My best.
Nah. Y'all don't know about Kevin Kearney. Y'all will soon, brother. Oh boy. Very special.
About my guy.
Fact. So now, we talked about the league changes. We talked about Coach Haskins and Tiny Morton. What does the future look like for South Shore when it's all said and done? And what do you want your legacy to look like?
The future for South Shore, for me, when I first came on the scene, was just for it to be competitive, and I feel like even the area of Canarsie Mill Basin, just to have kids understand that there is a school down the block from you that you can, get a scholarship from and play basketball at and get a good education to boot. That's really the goal. Like, my legacy is just to make people know that, a guy from 54th, 833 Linden Boulevard just wanted to help guys from his community. That's what I want for my legacy. And I want, the people from my area to understand how much I love my area, through basketball, through sports, or whatever it is, to help a kid. So that's what I really want. I don't want too much, for my legacy. I don't want to be known, I just want to continue to be able to help, as much as I can, to be honest with you.
Well, it's too late now, Smoke.
I know.
Too late now, brother. Too late now. The way
I just want people to say that I'm a real person at the end of the day.
Yes.
I'm a real person at the end of the day. I'm from 53rd, 54th and Linden Boulevard. I love my area, from my community. I'm nothing but that. I'm not trying to be the biggest coach in the world, but I will say I will use the platform that, I created to help others from my area build and grow and to be special in their own, skin.
So you got 3 now.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take 9 more to pass Dwayne Tiny Morton.
You can
now,
never pass.
Hold on. Look, I'm not rooting for you to do that, fam. That's my school. That's my point guard. Like, I'm just saying. And you're still young. It's not like,
correct.
But is not saying is that a goal, but if you accomplish that in the next 10, 12 years, we looking at we're looking at, you know, a new king or somebody that can get close, because nobody's close. We have Ruth Lovelace, who got 5. We have the old boys and girls high coach. I forget his name. He has 5. I think that's it. I think the most somebody's ever won in the PSAL is 5, fam. Until him, he just, obliterated everything. But how long you been head coach at South Shore?
Well, this is my 5th season.
That's what I'm saying. You already got 3 city championships. That's not bad. 3 and 5 years. Some people been coaching 10, 12, 20 years.
You mean 3 and 4. This is my 5th year. This is my 5th season.
Oh,
this is my 5th season coming.
Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy. But that's like unheard of, fam. I'm speaking from the outside looking in. I will be the guy who cheerleading for you. Don't worry about it. But that's kind of crazy. So, look, brother, that's crazy. 5-0 at the Barclays. Woo! Damn.
I love the atmosphere. I ain't gonna lie. Like wins and losses for me, the championships ain't seeing the kids just go to school and really, really become real people at the end of this. They're not outside doing the wrong things. They're actually giving back. That's what I want to see. So for anybody that want to know, I heard somebody on a little interview the other day want to know why I do this. I do this to really help kids actually humble themselves and just be a part of the society in a better way. That's what I came in the game for. Help kids like myself that just needed an opportunity to express themselves on the floor. So, if you want to know why I'm in the business for it, it's not for you. It's for kids that need me to help them.
Okay. So, when we talk about the reason why I like to bring guys like yourself and others on the show to show kids that we can evolve from basketball into the professional life and take care of ourselves and our families. It's not about if you make it to the NBA, that's cool. But a lot of us don't. Most of us don't, right? And the whole object of what you said is get kids prepared to go to college and be professionals, because we all are professionals at
the end of the day.
What we do. You know what I'm saying? So that's the most important thing. I heard Nisha Butler, she was on this young lady's live the other day.
Was a great player.
Oh, yeah. She'll be on here soon. We just got to be able to connect the dates. Yes. She was just saying, that a lot of our ball players in New York City put all our eggs in one basket and just focusing on ball and education is not that important. And we both, you and I know, education is important, because without education, you can't play basketball. But there are other things that we could do, and maybe basketball can propel us to those things.
Correct. Got to use every platform to its advantage, to help any kind of the youth. It don't matter who it is, how they are. That's how I feel about it. If it's a platform that could be used to help kids, you got to use it. If it's athletics, to say, well, okay, now we got free education, then you got to do that, And I understand what she's saying as far as, a lot of people just, they want to do the basketball thing. But people got to understand, and I think this is why times have changed, is I know when I was coming up, I felt like basketball is all I had.
Same here, fam.
And I feel like, the options that are being given now, to become successful is a little bit different now. The goals and the motivations are a little bit different now. We could, just change the narrative and bring it back to, that's what kids cared about only, and they knew that they had to do their books to play, things would be different. So, I'm liking the fact of what the PSL is trying to do right now to get that kind of feel back. And I'm just hoping that, us as coaches could, just try to implement that old school feel back to basketball, to bring it back to where it really is.
That's dope, man. If it's one thing you could change about your basketball journey, what would it be?
The one thing that I could change about my basketball journey, I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna say nothing. I'm gonna say that the only thing that I would love to have changed was my mentality. As far as me as a person, and with all the passion that I had, I still was kind of stubborn. So I wish that I could have humbled myself, and I want kids to hear this. I wish I could have humbled myself, because I was better than a lot of others that played, to be honest. Like I was really good. My biggest problem was not accepting or buying into coaching, to be real. To now becoming a coach, to saying that right now is surprising on this show. Kids got to understand that, it's not about you. It's about who you are all around. It's not about how good you are as a player. And I think that was my biggest problem. Like I was talented, but I wasn't a good person mentally. I think now in my older age, and I understand that, I'm a better person to say that, I'm a better person right now today to say to others, yo, really focus on just becoming a good person. And I think who you are as a person will show who you are on the floor. So that's the only thing I said I could change, is just my mentality.
That's honest. That's honest.
Yeah.
Yo, AG, Ball for Life, you got to rewind. He did. We talked about the A division, and all right. So just rewind it back after the show, and you'll check out what Coach Smoke had to say about that. All right. Salute to my guy, Ballheads on the check-in. Caden Francis. Caden Francis is in the building.
That's one of the next upcoming stars in New York City. Yeah, I remember that name. All right.
For sure. Salute, Caden, and good luck. Dow Grady is in the building.
My number one coach. That's like my dad. You know that. I got Donald Mark, and then I got Coach Dow Grady. That's like family to me.
He said, class act, coach, empowering the community. Hard worker, finds players under the rock. Salute, coach.
All day.
That's dope. So now, time for some fun. Let's get into our top five. All right, Smoke. All right. Let's everybody here, the top 5 players you played against.
Top 5 players I played against. Okay. Now they gonna laugh, right? Kenny Satterfield.
Woo-hoo.
A Butter from Uptown. Of course, the refrigerator, Jerome Holman. I'm going to say a kid from Bushwick. My guy Jeff. I forgot my guy Jeff last name. My son was tough. From Hope Gardens. Jeffrey was nasty. I think Artie Cox knows his last name. My son Lucy knows his last name too. He was good. I'm going to say a guy from Connecticut named Bobby Moore. He was no joke coming up. And last but not least, I'ma say like Mo Williams. I played against Mo Williams, New Orleans Jazz. He was tough. He was tough as a player. TJ Ford, if I could get 6, TJ Ford really let me know in Cali. I'm gonna say that. Carl Krauser, leave me alone. Don't try to have no jokes on me, no nothing.
All right. If you can replace one or the other, because you only can use 5, can have a 6 man.
I gotta put TJ Ford in the. Okay. I remember him.
All right. For sure. Yeah. All right. Now I'm gonna go back home now.
Yeah.
Top 5 players from Tilden High School.
For me.
For you. Yeah.
You gotta say Ed Coda and Marlon, the backcourt. Okay. My son Marlon was not a game. Like I love watching Marlon play. Marlon was no joke. Rest in peace, my guy Ronald Bartholomew was tough. Kev Simmons, where you at?
Kev Simmons,
where you at? Definitely. And Tilden player. Everybody gonna laugh. One of my favorite Tilden players was Deron Love. Right? That's my guy. You know, that was one of my favorite Tilden players. He was a point guard. He was one of the first big point guards too. He was underrated. People didn't jack him, but I did. Deron Love. So I gave you my guys who I like from Tilden.
Salute. All right.
Don't get mad at me, Trini. You just was too major.
All right. Top 5 guys you played with.
I'm gonna say Joel Wiggin is like my brother. That's my guy from uptown. Like we went to wars together. Carl Krauser, of course. You know what? He used to always tell me, you know, we the underrated, most hated before the game.
Underrated, most hated. I'm gonna use that.
Gotta use that. I'm gonna say Jeff McMillan. I called him the Shaq of AAU.
Woo. How tall was he?
He was like 6'8", 6'9". You just can't hold him. I watched him like kill real pros that ended up being pros down the line, like down low. You just couldn't check him. Rest in peace, James Felton from Marist High School.
Yes,
he was a McDonald All-American. He wasn't no joke. About 6'8", 6'9". He could play. Play with. You might laugh. My guy Tyreek Leach. I always tell people he was the best player in Brooklyn.
Word.
People don't rate him, but anybody from uptown, anybody from any other borough know you couldn't check him. Facts. You know, so I'm gonna say he one of the best guys I played with too coming up. Word.
Okay. That's real.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna test your history, right? See how much of a basketball head you are. But again, this goes on your perspective and nobody else's.
Okay.
Top 5 players in New York City history.
History?
Yes.
History. I gotta, you gotta put like it's hard to do that because it's like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah. All right, but it's who you. Everybody got a different 5. Yet I have yet to have someone name the same 5.
I'm such of a biased Brooklynite that you know it would be unfair to name history, but you gotta put like you saying from New York City. I
said New York City. All right. Let me give you a brief real quick, right? So I got interviewed by News 12 and by Patrick O'Keefe. He asked me this question, right?
Okay.
So my five was Pearl Washington, Rolando Blackman, Tiny Archibald, Bernard King, and Lloyd Daniels. So he was like, why not Kareem? Like, I was like, but Kareem's on everybody's list, right? I picked Rolando Blackman because a lot of people don't realize Rolando Blackman was second team All-City. Then went out to Kansas State and killed. Not only was he Big 8 Player of the Year, he was the Big 8 Defensive Player of the Year, right? 4-time All-Star. Second team All-City. Who you know second team All-City making it to the league?
Fact.
That I was just like, so I'm always, and he was the first pro I interviewed, so I was like, yo.
He's definitely in my top 5 of history just because he's from my area, you know.
That's my guy. Salute Rolando Blackman.
I gotta say, Junie Sanders is a guy I idolized coming up watching when I was a kid, like facts. He was the defender. I call him the defender of Brooklyn. Go uptown, let anybody know what time it is. Like, I'm one of the best players out here.
And then he was king of New York when he won that case, right? Beast the dudes in the one-on-one.
I was there for that Stackhouse and Allen Houston joint as a kid too, by the way. I was there for that. So, you know, rest in peace, my guy Brian. You got to come to the game, Shawn. You know, so I'm gonna say June Sanders. I gotta say Bugs. You know, watching Booger Smith play was like, wow, he was such a showsman. All
right, I'm gonna pause. Let's pause there, and I'm gonna let you name your other 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when we look at that NYC point guard, no knock to that, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of have a problem just with the order and some of the dudes that they left out. I just felt you don't start the New York City point guard without having Pearl first, right? You don't
That's
name
one.
him. You don't name him after afterthought, right? And then Booker's nowhere to be found. He didn't.
Gotta have Books in that.
Who makes the sports cover of Sports Illustrated playing street basketball?
That says the best point guard in the world. Word.
And he didn't score a lot. He made everybody look better.
He'll have his days though if you let him.
Yeah, I know. No, he did. But oh boy.
Yeah, you know, I kind of really like watching him play. You want to talk about history? Who I used to watch like really get buckets, you know, in the park. I ain't gonna front, like Mike Campbell was somebody I used to watch when I was a kid, like clean guys up, real talk.
Yo,
you know?
I used to have Mike Campbell in 21, helping him out in his game, and he caught me. We was playing, no lie. Ball goes up, off the rebound. I go for a rebound. He comes behind me, dunks it.
Yeah,
he said, I dreamed of that. He said, once I did that, I knew I was ready. And to see him go on to LIU and, you know, overseas and kill, love you, Mike. I know you don't do social media, but you got to come do Big Bro Show, man.
Big facts.
Oh, man, Mike Campbell, special, man. That's good, yo. He was a first. He was a first.
Watching and, you know, like really watching somebody kill somebody, like a drive, you know, that's my guy too. I'm gonna have to give it to him. Charles Jones was like a monster in the park. He'll pull up to the park, well, you know, I'm gonna say that, you know, as far as an accomplished player, street baller who reminded me of Charles, and I'm gonna say he was a little bit older, that was like a killer on the floor. Tony Springer used to walk in on the floor and let guys know I got skill and I'm mean. And I know how to play the game. I could shoot the basketball. I could defend. You want to play? Like, I always respected Tone's game because, you know, he was like the next guy with Junie. They would always play together. So I used to love watching those guys play. So, you know, those are my guys from my history that I felt were like basketball gods to me.
Yo, I know this is the 170th that I have on YouTube, right? But I got like another 100 on my hard drive, which I didn't even put up yet, right? That I did on Instagram. No one have said the same 5 people. So this would go to show you the amount of talent that's in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody can be riding the same wave. Like somebody up here just put it, right? All Ball said, Kenny Anderson, Steph Marbury, Chris Mullin, Lamar Odom, Ron Artest. I've never heard that 5 before. I've heard Kenny, I've heard Steph, I heard Chris Mullin. Not too many people mention Lamar Odom or Ron Artest, and that's his 5.
And I actually think like Rod Strickland got to be in that. Like Rod was nice. Mark Jackson, and you want to talk about point guard basketball. You know, those 2 guys were like really special to me watching them, especially when they were on the Knicks. I'm a big Knicks fan as well too. I'm raised on the Knicks, basically. So, you know, there you go,
dope, man.
Heads. You know, you got Shawn Mark for the day.
Listen, brother. Listen, I want to give you a round of applause, brother. Thank you for coming on. Listen, I want to say this, man. I know your career is still going on, and we love to have you back. Especially you win this one again, and we're gonna bring you back anytime, man. But I wanted to give you your flowers because not only you deserve it, you're a staple in New York City right now. Like what you did and what you have accomplished will never be erased, no matter if the world ends tomorrow. Hopefully it won't. But
thank you for saying that.
Nah, for real. What you did would can't be erased. You're already stamped in New York City history.
Thank you.
One of the greatest coaches that's out here, and I want to let people know, New York City and all over the world, Shawn "Smoke" Mark, definitely one of the greatest coaches in New York City history. So definitely salute to you, brother, and thank you for coming on, man. And can't wait to see you during the season and next year. You know what I'm saying? That's right. That's right. Appreciate you, brother.
Pull up any time of the home games. All
definitely
right?
will do. Yeah. And hold on. Before you leave, I want you to check something out. So my artist, who's been MIA for a long time, he found out you was coming on the show. Hold on. Hold up. You got to check your phone in 1 second. Check your phone, check your IG.
My IG going crazy right now too.
I would put this. I'm gonna bring this to one of your home games and present it to you. Check it out.
Oh, that's dope. I see it. That's super. Wow.
Everybody know. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So everybody, y'all, I don't know if y'all can see this, but I'm gonna post it on IG tomorrow for everybody to check it out. You know what I'm saying?
Fire. It's fire.
For sure.
Appreciate that.
No, he's a super big fan, and Jamel Powell, and he was like, yo, this is for Smoke. Tell Smoke. Because he's been MIA for a while. He just came back, and you got the first one in a very long time.
Looks nice, man. Looks nice.
Appreciate no doubt. That. So appreciate you, brother. I'll see you soon.
You already know, man. Stay safe.
Yep, for sure.
All right, man.
No doubt. When it comes to coaches in New York City, we have a lot of great coaches that's still out here. All right? Coach Billy Turnage, Coach Jackson from Banneker, Coach Bud from Jefferson, Coach Love, Boys and Girls, Coach Hamilton, Eagle Academy. I could go on and on and on. There's so many great coaches. But when we talk about Shawn Mark Smoke, you got to put some respect on his name. You got to put some respect on the legacy and what he have accomplished. You can't erase it. You know, what he have done to reshape South Shore in this program that's dominating New York City, not only on the boys' side, you know, my guy Anwar's doing it on the girls' side. So South Shore as a whole is dominating the city. When we talk about the boys and doing it from scratch, bringing kids up who need that push, Coach has been a master at that. Even though when you look at his career, he'll tell you he struggled in certain parts to be the best player he can be. And when his attitude and him being, you know, like he said, stubborn at most times, he's paying it forward to his kids to make sure that they understand that they have opportunities to be great. And he's not going to quit on his kids. And he's going to make sure that his kids don't quit. When they lost in the Brooklyn Borough Championship, everybody probably wrote him off. But he was the first one to tell you tonight his team needed to lose so they could know how to win again. And sometime in life, sometimes we need to lose to see that we can win again. Because we all winners. Sometimes we just need things to bring us out of us. I would like to thank Coach Smoke for coming on the show tonight and everybody who participated in the chat room, all the people who watched, all the people that's on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Spotify, and all the platforms that support basketball heads in the New York City Basketball Network. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, and you've been watching Basketball Heads live podcast, New York City Basketball Network, and the official home for New York City basketball. Peace.